I don't get this. I guess I'm erasing this. I can't read that. Okay. Xbox Game Studios presents Pentiment. All these musical notes. And it's making out a live tweet. Area design, Matthew. Eli. I don't know how to say that last name. Narrator. Okay, I'm taking too much time to read these. Directed by Josh Sawyer. House of Olivia, Holy Roman Empire, April 1518.
Player says, and the abbot said to me, Andreas. Option 1 of 3, I don't want you distracting the sisters in the library. Option 2 of 3, I need you to finish this commission by the end of April. Option 3 of 3, keep your conversations with Brother Piero to a minimum.
Okay, so it is narrating, but let's see if we can...
Main language. Gamma, master, music volume. Master volume, options. Option 2, option 3, Beatrice says Brother Piero is such a source of wisdom and encouragement for you, though. Socrates says indeed, but the rule of the Christian contemplative life demands that the brothers not engage in idle chatter. Saint Grobian says Jesus Christ, what a pack of dullards. Be happy you're only stuck there for a few more months, Andreas. Prester John says how did you reply to the abbot, Andreas? Option 1 of 3 I apologized and said I'd avoid unnecessary conversations in the future. Option 2 of 3 I replied that the rule was for him, not for me. I'm an artist, not a monk. Option
And last option
3 I just nodded and kept working. Option 1 of Socrates says as illuminating as your conversations may be, there is much to learn in your own work.
So this is interesting. So it is going to say every narration of what each character says.
But Brother Piero helps Andreas understand his work. His experience is invaluable to any young artist. Saint Grobian says why would the asshole abbot care? All he's concerned with is the money he can wring out of the boy.
Wow, that's a lot of profanity.
Prester John says despite the abbot's ire, you must endure. Soon you will have finished both the abbot's work as well as your masterpiece. And then you will return to Nuremberg, where marriage and your new life as a master await you. Beatrice says yes, marriage to someone he has never met. Hardly ideal. Socrates says well, the alternative is becoming a philosopher. Saint Grobian says oh, Jesus, then you should definitely get married. Is she pretty? At least? Option 1 of 3, that's what my brother said in his letter, but maybe he's just trying to lift my spirits. Option 2 of 3, the small portrait they sent was lovely, but we artists can be flatterer. Option 3 of 3, oh, who knows? That's not why I'm doing it. Option
Yeah, let's
1
go
of
with the
3,
first
that's what
option.
Prester John says it is growing late. The wheel of time stops for no man, Andreas. I fear you must leave us. Player says true, your majesty.
That bird is too loud.
Prester John says will you visit us again soon? Option 1 of 3 hopefully, but it's out of my control, your majesty. Option 2 of 3 I don't know, your majesty. Option 3 of 3 well, I can't always dream of this place, your majesty. Options.
Okay, let's see if we can turn down the
master volume.
ambient. There we go.
Options. Option 1 of Prester John says as are many things. Trust in Providence. Grobian, please see Andrea safely home. Saint Grobian says of course, your majesty. Prester John says until next time, Andreas. Player says until next time, your majesty. Saint Grobian says pay no mind to the other fools, Andreas. Player says I never do.
So far in narration, the volume could use a bit more work.
Options.
Because
language. Yeah, master volume. Options.
Because I really do believe.
Options. Language. Gap. Mask. High contrast. Text. Photosensitive. Note. Text size. Voice assist speed. Voice assist volume. Voice. Microsoft Linda. Microsoft.
Voice assist.
Voice assist. Microsoft. Voice assist. Microsoft. Voice assist. Voice assist. Voice assist. Microsoft Catherine. Voice assist.
Catherine, I don't think.
Options. Main menu. Option. Language. English. Language. East. Gamepad. Master. High contrast. Voice. Microsoft J. Microsoft. Voice assist. Voice assist. Voice assist.
Voice assist. Microsoft Zira. Microsoft Catherine. Microsoft Richard.
Voice assist. Microsoft.
So what it seems right now, not all the voice assists are working.
Voice assist. Microsoft Susan. Voice assist.
Because each one of these would be a different type of accent.
Voice assist.
Again, I wish I could increase this even more.
Voices options. Player says out. At least I would if they'd stop stepping on my feet. Watch where you're going. Saint Grobian says he. They're fools, Andreas. No point in trying to teach them anything. I know old John wants you to endure the abbot's shit, but since I take you home, I get the last word.
Now, with me turning on the sound, I really don't know how loud you guys are hearing this.
Options.
I'm going to turn off.
Gap, map, icon, tech, photosensitive, voices, Microsoft, mic off. Voice assist, voice assist, mic off.
Yeah, so I'm going to disable the voice assist. It's just too low. But it was a good experiment to try what the voice assist is in this game. So I'll start reading some of these lines. I won't try to voice act any of them. I'm just going to just read the lines. I know old John wants you to endure the abbot shit, but since I take you home, I get the last word. Don't let him run you ragged, boy. Okay, and there's other options. I won't I won't. The abbot can't push me around. He's just trying to keep order in the abbot. I'm an outsider. It will be fine. I don't want to cause any trouble. Well, the second one. Right, an outsider he brought in. If he wants your work, he has to deal with you as you are. Yeah. Would you please stop? I give up. Take me home, Goblin. As you wish, Andreas. Good morning, Ursula. Good, and do it? Time to get up. Few more pages. Prime hour 6, another day, another few pages for the abbot, and hopefully a few for myself. I need to get across town and head up to the abbot so I can start work at the scriptorium. So there's our map. Kirisu Abbot, outer testing, and testing. And they have a little legend on the bottom left-hand side. People, Brother Pietro, Verano, artist of the Corazon Abbot, known for his kindness and helpful nature. Brother Pietro is also respected as a master painter, specializing in works of extraordinary color. Glossary. Nuremberg, Free Empire City of the Holy Roman Empire, major trade center and city of arts, including painting. The Rule of Saint Benedict of Narcissus is a book of instructions for monks living together under the guidance of a abbot. Written in the 6th century, the rule provides the principle for living a monastic life. Hey, I should really clean this up. Oh, when I pressed X, I went to this. Okay, so I did not read it. The Peak of Tricks, Key of Solomon, the Hip Temper. The Hip Temperature Prior France keeps giving me all these books to read. Okay, so that is a bit going away too quickly. Let's see if this notification keeps it there longer. Let's test that out. Okay, so it really seems all right. So that's where it works. Go to bed? Nope, no time for bed. Oh, Ursula. And Clara. Good morning, Andres. Did you sleep well? Oh, yeah, there are options. Quite well, actually. Thank you. Yeah, let's just go for that. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Anyways, I know you'll be off to the abbot, so I packed you some food. Almonds, cheese, and some of the rye you like from the Albans. Otto, Otto, Otto wanted me to ask you if you join him for dinner at the Abbey. Otto stopped by? Yes. around dawn. Here you are, Andreas. That's kind of you, Claire. Many thanks. Master Andreas, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, could we... Would it be too much trouble if you pay next month's rent today? And if we raised it by 2 garnish? Hate to ask, but we're behind in our taxes to the Abbey. 2 months behind. Peter is losing his hair over it, even more than usual. I mean, as of course, it's no problem at all. Besides, we wouldn't want Peter to lose any more of his precious hair. I suppose that's not out of the question. Guess I think I can manage it. Another, I can't promise anything. I think the second option's better. We're so grateful, truly, Andreas. I apologize again for asking. It's just awful to be stuck in such a position. Our taxes get harder to pay every year. Peter works hard, but it just never seems like it's enough. St. Luke, bless you for helping us. Speaking of St. Luke, how is your masterpiece coming along? It's been 2 months now, hasn't it? Slowly, I'm afraid. Most of my days are spent doing work for the Abbey. It's only during the divine office that Prior's Ference allows me to work on my masterpiece. A reasonable restriction, but slowly going. The city council doesn't require it to become a master. I'm making it mostly to show clients and for my own skills, my own sake. And yes, when I do finish, I will go back to Nuremberg, where I will marry and open a workshop of my own. From Nuremberg to a university and how traveling the world is, from Nuremberg to a university and now traveling the world as an artist? What a life you have ahead of you, Mr. Andreas. Yes, I suppose it does feel like I'm starting a new chapter in my life after some wandering. I'd rather be frightening, starting all over again. I owe to my family to make something useful in my life. It is, but I know now that this is what I want to do. Yeah. This will be remembered. Not many people get to decide that. Certainly not anyone testing. Anyways, I don't know anything about art, but I've seen you sketching such beautiful things in your little book. Your masterpiece must be wonderful. It is. It's my finest work. Good. It makes me glad to see some confidence in the men around here sometimes. Now I have to get back to my own work. Have a good day at the Abbey, Andreas, and we'll see you after Vesper for supper. Not tonight, but thank you, Claus Darky. Claus Darker invited me over for supper. Of course. Please say hello to Duckers for us. Of course. Until later, Clara. Hello, Andreas. Oh. Not much to say to me, okay? Okay. Peter, Andreas. Ill Peter. God bless you, Andreas. Oh. Ah, yes. Andreas. This weather's been god-awful. This town's gone to shit since my days. Okay. Were things very different when you were young? As different as beer and piss. The old abbot didn't bother us much about our customs. He didn't mind if we left a little offering to Parchta to keep the skies clear, the weather fair. Yeah, there's some good accessibility. I just noticed that little symbol, the options. So Parchta is a pagan goddess of the Alps, associated with animals and spinning wool. She is still invoked by some Christians in Austria, Switzerland, Bavaria, and Swabe? Matthew just knows that the Christ was in our hearts, even if the white lady's name was on our lips. Let's see what it says for Christ. Nothing. The church banned all observers of pagan gods. Ew. Yeah. But no one told Virgin that. She was here first. The saints weren't the first to watch over testing. My father knew that. Old Renning would do that. That bastard abbot may not like it, but some of us keep the tradition alive. I won't mention that to the abbey. The abbey. Butchered in hounds, take the abbot. Alright. I should go. Alright, God bless you. Morning, Andreas. Morning, Big Jorgen. Jorg? How's it going? You working today? Just taking a rest for a bit. Dad's still in the field. He hit a big rock with the plowing, and it took me, Lord knows how long to pull it out. You off to the Abbey? Every day but Sunday. Right. Thank God for Sundays. Smells like a storm coming, no? Just smelled like fresh alpine air to me. You've been traveling too much. Where was it you spent your Wanderjug before you came to Tesla? So, Wanja is wandering years during which a journeyman, artist, or craftsman travels far and wide to improve their skills. So where'd you spend your wandering years before you came to Tesla? Pick a background that will affect your character's choice going forward. Press and hold to confirm. Right, so vessels. Andres knows some Italian and French and can reference culture touchstones from Basel and nearby Orns, Zurich, and Freiburg. Flanders. Andreas knows some Dutch and French and can reference cultural touchstones from Antwerp, Berge, and Ghent. Andreas knows Italian and a little Greek and can refer cultural touchstones from Florence, Venice, and Milan. I like this one, both Italian and French. Over in Switzerland, mostly. Basel. Swiss air might be different then. Spending enough time in the mountains and you'll be able to smell a storm coming. How long will that take? 10, 15 years. I don't think I'll have that long, Big Jug. What do you spend all that time in the Switzerland doing anyway? Other than that art, I mean, I have no idea how these people are supposed to talk, so I'll just put my own words. Hidalgus, Andres speaks out pleasure whenever he goes. He's extremely social and quite experienced in all of enjoyable vices of the world. Christ, a craftsman. Andreas lives to work and dedicates all his time to his art. Bookworm. Andreas spends all of his non-working free times finding and reading so many books as he possibly can. Rapscallion. Andreas has penchant. Penchant? Penchant. For getting involved in petty schemes, pranks, minor crimes, and fistfights. The hell no, we're not doing that. Businessman. Andreas devotes much of his time to self-promotion, optimizing business expenses, making investments, and balancing his books. We're gonna go for craftsman. Other than art, nothing. That's what I was here for. Art is the whole point, Big Jorg. The crafts. I don't have time for anything else. Oh, sorry I asked. Anyways, I have to get going. Jorg, let's go. Dad's already acting like I'm taking. Dad's already acting like I'm taking too long, even though I don't. Even though I did all the work to get that rock out. See you later, Andreas. Until later. Hello, Andreas. You say hi. You say hello to the girls today. You and Claire? No, I mean the chickens. Peter, James, and John. They like it when you stroke their back or give them a good scratch under the breast. You name your chickens after the apostles? Isn't that blasphemy? I guess when you put it plain like that. But I hear about the apostles every Sunday in Mass. They witness Jesus' greatest moments of glory and his darkest trials. I was thinking that how it is with the girls and me. They see everything I deal with around here. Didn't make perfect sense to me. Yep. Word of advice, don't mention that to anyone else, especially father. It's fine, I'll get it. I'll just call them girls from now on. I don't recall your family eating eggs. What do you do with all of them? Okay, we sell them to the bird. Claire said we need the extra money for taxes. Anyways, I should get back to it. Until later, Andreas. Until then. Hello, Andreas. Gonna stick his hand in the fire. And Smithy. It's much smaller than the ones he used at the Abbey. Martin, please, can you give me a hand here? What do you want? I'm keeping an eye on them. That looks like a lot of standing there and doing nothing. Martin, for Christ's sake, help your cousin. Morning, Andreas. Excuse us. One of the fence rails fell off and the sheep started hopping it. Try to offer to help. Yeah, let's go with this. Martin, you edit it. This will be remembered. Mind your business, asshole. Martin, that's enough. And Andreas, leave the disciple to my mother. Discipline to my mother. Oh, look, there's something going up and at the Steiner place. Even this font is still a bit hard to read. Who's that on the horse? Looks rich. I don't know, Martin, but luckily is giving him a earful. Christ, I haven't seen Lucky that worked up since Peter and Clara wedding. Let me repeat that. Christ, I haven't seen Lucky that worked up since Peter and Clara's wedding when Johann put his pants down. Knocked two of my men's teeth out. You don't want to feel strength behind a stonemason anger. Do you think he's a noble? He looks really rich. God damn it, Martin. Stay out of trouble for once. Fine and dandy. Behave yourself. Don't we have enough to deal with right now? Andreas, he wouldn't mind moving your skinny little body up the road. We need to get these sheep under control. Of course. See you later. Help your aunt and your cousin, all right? Eat shit, Andreas. This will be remembered. What? Hey, Andreas. Okay. What? Morning, Drez. How's it going? Morning, Claus. Another day at the Abbey. Another few hours to work on my masterpiece. Good to hear. You still coming by for supper tonight? Mary and Bert would love to see you. I like that kind of option. It helps you remind you of... keeps you reminded of what's going on in certain characters. You really need to see these new woodcuts I have for Italian edition of Till Ilongspiegal. And that's his name. There's info. I'm not going to read that. I didn't realize Father Thomas let you print books in Italian. Come on, Andreas. He's not that strict. I know he's just trying to protect people from... Sloppy text, please, no. Adventure stories are questionable moral with you. He doesn't mind those so much, actually, no. As long as they don't go too carnal. Oh. So, supper tonight after Vespers? Of course. Thank you. Great, I'll tell Mary and Bert you're coming. See you then. See you later. Good bless, Master Mirren. I hope your week is going well. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. It's going quite well. I'm just on my way up the hill to get to work. Good. Just, I don't recall seeing you at Sunday morning's Mass. You understand how important it is for your salvation that you receive Holy Communion, don't you? To be honest with him, I do, but I've been working on sketches lately at night, and this is about more than your success in your life. There is another. Oh my! What a blessed day to receive such an illustrious visitor. Massimilla, this is Lauren Baron of... Okay. Let's put this voice assist back on.
Voice assist. Options. Lawrence says good to see you, Father Thomas. It is nice to be remembered fondly. I only wish all of your neighbors were as welcoming. Thomas says well, yes. What brings you back to our little town? Lawrence says my wife and I were returning from a trip to Venice. We spent a few days in Innsbruck and it was terribly dull. I mean, it has a certain charm common to these Alpine cities, but the place was crawling with nobles for the emperor's diet. Thomas says the emperor. Was he there? Did you? Lawrence says oh, briefly, but he was sitting for a portrait at the time. Quite lovely. I didn't want to bother him or the painter. Option 1 of 3. Who was the artist, my lord?
Yeah, who was the
Lawrence
artist?
says I'm sure you know him. An older man from Nuremberg with enough of a reputation to paint the emperor. Option 1 of 2. Albrecht Dürer. Well known across the empire, and a legend in our mutual hometown. Option 2 of 2. I'm sorry, my lord. I'm not sure who you mean.
Okay, so I could probably guess why they have a narration. Because a lot of these names I don't even know how to pronounce, and they are names from like ye old English times. Like as I said, it was like 1518. So some of the enunciation of the words back then can be
Lawrence
quite
says
different.
have you not heard of Albrecht Dürer? Pity. I thought he was known across the empire.
And Dürer, Albrecht Dürer, is a renowned painter and printmaker from Nuremberg. He is revered in Venice as well as across the Holy Roman Empire since 1512. He has enjoyed the patronage of the Empire Maximil I.
Anyway, my wife wanted to stay a bit longer in Innsbruck and I decided to ride ahead to make a visit to Kiersau. I heard Father Matthias died shortly after my last visit. Of course, Thomas says a great loss for the abbey and for us all. Lawrence says indeed. By good fortune, I recently came across a copy of the Historia Tasha he was reading during my last visit. Father Matthias was hoping to find a second copy to corroborate the contents of the first. It contains some fascinating details about the history of this place. I'm afraid they might even cause a bit of a scandal, heh. Thomas says yes. Lawrence says but I must be off. There will be time enough to discuss Tassing's past later. I commissioned a manuscript from the abbey through Father Gernot and I have come to check on its progress. Thomas says oh. My lord, if you have come to see your manuscript, you should speak with young Master Mailer here. Option 1 of 2. Not quite a true master yet. I still have to marry and be approved by our city council. Option 2 of 2. It is an honor to meet you, my lord. Thomas says Andreas is a journeyman artist from Nuremberg. For the next few months, he's also helping in the abbey's scriptorium. Lawrence says a Nuremberger artist working in an abbey scriptorium. In 1518? Oh, we should talk, Andreas. I must know the story.
So they gotta tell us about the definition of a scriptorium, a room for writing, illustrating, and illuminating manuscripts. Though typically associated with monasteries, they have disappeared from almost all abbeys by the 16th century.
Option 1 of 3, of course my lord. It would be an honor. Option 2 of 3. Well, I'm already late to the abbey but I suppose it's alright. Lawrence says of course it is. I'll have a word with the abbot if he makes a fuss. And if he still makes a fuss, I'll have a word with the Prince Bishop of Freising, a good friend of mine.
Prince Bishop of Freising. Okay, they have something about him. A religious and scholar. Is that a scholar? That's say scholar. Ruler of You know what? Why isn't it reading it? Why is not the narration reading that part? Religious and scholar ruler of scattered territories in the Holy Roman Empire, including the lands containing Tassi and Percy Abbey. Yeah, so there's a part where it's not narrating, is when we get the descriptions. You know what? I'm gonna make a.
Thank you for the introduction, Father Thomas. Come to supper at the Abbey tonight. I'm inviting you to the abbot's table. Thomas says is. Did the abbot invite me? Lawrence says oh, don't worry about it, Father. Just show up after Vespers. What is he going to do, refuse us?
Well, at least this is kind of like a magnification. The Vespers, month hour at dusk, one of the major prayer hours. It is followed by supper. But still, it should have narrated that part.
Thomas says
Uh,
Lawrence says excellent. We will see you then. Mike Laws, I'm dismounting. Run ahead of us and take the horses to the Abbey's guest house. I'd like to take my time talking with Master Mailer. I'll meet you. Mike Laws says at once, my lord.
so this game is really
Lawrence
helpful.
says so then, a journeyman from Nuremberg.
So this game is quite interesting. Because of the words a bit difficult to say, I don't mind the narrations at all. I think maybe I can play a bit more of this. But it's really up to you guys if you guys don't mind me playing a game with this kind of narration. Or I can just play it completely offline.
Forgive me for saying so, but you seem a little old to not yet be a master. Are you unmarried? Player says no, I'm not married, but in truth I came to my vocation later than my father and brothers. I was in university for a number of years, at Erfurt. Lawrence says Erfurt. Wonderful. The same university as Martin Luther. Have you read his
Martin
works?
Luther.
Tremendous mind. Options.
Oh, wrong one. Martin Luther. This Martin Luther, not to be confused with Martin Luther King, the priest and professor of the theology at the University of Wittenberg. See, this is where I really wish it would narrate, because sometimes I can't pronounce some of these words at the moment. Controversial for his opinions on the church sales of indulgence to give sin, which were recently published and distributed through the empire. And Ifart is one of the most populous cities in the empire and is located near its heart. It has been home to a respected university since 1379. Wow. And it is a center for humanities, though. I made a clip of that too, so it's a good example of where other narration should be as well. Maybe someone in a review out there has it. I don't know.
Lawrence says he says things about the church that should have been said years ago. Might get him into trouble, but he's a brave, brilliant man. Wait, you may have even met him. Did you? You must tell me. Player says no. He was a few years ahead of me. Option 1 of 2 still, his ideas do seem fascinating. Option 2 of 2 his ideas don't hold much interest for me, Option 1 of 2 still.
Let's keep them on
His ideas do
good
seem
side.
fascinating. Lawrence says I agree, wholeheartedly.
See?
I simply must meet him if I get the chance. I wonder if the good brothers of the Abbey have heard of him. Perhaps they have even read his list of 95 theses against the church.
95. Perhaps they have even read his list of 95 thieves against the church. Now, one thing I would like to know is that I would like an option to. Wait.
Dialogue. Yes, button, 2 of 3.
I turned the Xbox narration on. Maybe it can reread it. Just experimenting.
Father Matthias was not above having a lively debate. I hope Father Gernot does not disappoint in that regard. Dialogue. What would you like to do? Close. Exiting narrator.
Okay, so the narrator for the Xbox is just specifically for the Xbox interface, not for the game. Still,
Options.
not. Something like this would have been lovely if they would narrate the definitions.
Lawrence says but enough about Luther for now. Tell me about your university study. Option 1 of 2 forgive me, Baron, but did you attend university? Lawrence says no. My family is merely wealthy enough to have provided me with all of the books and tutors a child could dream of. I love all knowledge, from Aristotle and Cicero to Ficino and Erasmus, and everyone in between and yet to come. Player says I may have misjudged the Baron. It seems he is as well read as any university student.
I wonder what university was like back then. What was university life for students back in like where he was, where the time is now, 1518, during the 1500s? What was university like?
Lawrence says in truth, I am simply happy to speak with another well-educated man. Now then, did you earn your doctorate? Player says I know, I didn't. Only a master's degree. I started working toward a doctorate, but didn't finish. Lawrence says oh, that's a shame. Well, what was your area of study? Option 1 of 3 theology. Andreas has a strong understanding of Catholic theology, biblical knowledge, canon law, heresies, and similar subjects. Option 2 of 3 imperial law. Andreas knows the option 1 of 3 option 2 of 3
Like something like
imperial
this
law.
in the dialogue that's just been read,
Andreas knows the
to be
basics
able
of the
to reread
fractured
it.
systems of laws that
That would be
govern the
nice
various
too.
states of the Holy Roman Empire. Option 3 of 3 medicine. Andreas is familiar with the basics of option 2 of 3 imperial law. Andreas knows the basics of the fractured systems of law. Player says law. I suppose I thought I could practice in Nuremberg. Lawrence says I never had much interest in the subject, honestly. A bit dull for my tastes.
Oh man.
Besides, the empire is such a mess of jurisdictions. Bavarian law, Rhenish law, Franconian law. Nonsense. I'd rather use my money to pay someone who studied the nonsense than learn it myself. Attilia says you. If I had any faith I would have prayed you'd never show your face here again. Curse you, Lawrence Rothvogel. Perchta's dogs tearing you to pieces would be too kind of fate. Lawrence says these rustic communities display a shocking lack of hospitality, don't you think? Option 1 of 2 what was that about? Lawrence says who knows. By the time I finish guessing, the old crone will probably be dead. ... Well, what of your early time in university? Every student must study the trivium and quadrivium, yes.
Trivium and quadrivium represents the lower and upper division of class of liberal arts university education. Latin, grammar, logic, rhetoric form, The tourism, arc, arc. I can't say these words because sometimes it is a bit hard, it's difficult to read still. Geometry, music, and astronomy form the quadrivium. Quadrivium.
Did you have a favorite subject? Option 1 of 5 Latinist.
He's an
Andreas has a
artist.
strong command of Latin grammar and vocabulary. Option 2 of 5 Logician. Andreas instinctively thinks through the implications of information as he receives it. Is option 3 of 5 Orator. Andreas excelled at rhetoric in university. Option 4 of 5 Occultist. Andreas knows a soul-endangering amount of theoretical and practical knowledge on option 5 of 5 Heavens and Earth. Andreas knows a great deal about the constellations.
Just
Player
pick a
says, I
random
love
bunch of
studying the
stuff.
natural world, my lord. Both the heavens above and the wild spaces around us. Formerly, I studied as much astronomy as I could. Lawrence says it's incredible how much we've learned from both the Arabs and the Greeks. Player says true, but even now we continue to discover more about what we can see within the celestial sphere. What began as pagan myths to explain our place in the world may help us understand our place in the heavens. And this may seem foolish, but I spent a lot of time in the wilderness, learning about plants and animals. Lawrence says, really? Did the libraries of Erfurt not have enough herbals to satisfy your curiosity?
Yeah, because he tried to smoke pot.
Player says, I don't mean to malign our most august Greek and Roman authors, but De Materia Medica was written before the coming of Christ. Surely there is more that we can learn about plants, insects, and animals by observing them in nature. And beyond that, I simply have a love for wild places. Lawrence says, while I do not share your academic interest in nature, I must admit that I sometimes enjoy the solitude of a walk in the woods. And your other studies? Was there anything else you excelled at? Option 1 of 4 Latinist. Andreas. Option 2 of 4 Logician. Player says logic, geometry, and arithmetic.
Arithmetic. That's how you pronounce it.
Lawrence says, quite interesting for an artist. Was Aristotle's organon the foundation of your study? Player says yes, the organon for logic and Euclid's elements for geometry, but the past few centuries have yielded wonderful new texts on logic. Peter Abelard provided the foundation of scholastic philosophy and established the primacy of Aristotle's work. The Englishman William of
This
Ockham
is
gave
a
us the
lot of
Summa
reading,
Logici,
even
arguing
for the
nominalism against Platonic
narrator.
realism. And of course Thomas Aquinas gave us the tools to employ both faith and reason in the pursuit. Lawrence says all monks and friars, of course. A great deal of work to force Aristotle to fit within the Church's vision of truth.
Aristotle, the Greek philosopher and student of Plato, renowned as a polymath, he wrote on a wide variety of subjects. His work is extensively seized by current scholars, and even more work is attributed to him than he could ever written.
Player says, is that so wrong? Lawrence says, I question that these great men should have had to wrestle logic into what the Church established by fiat and force. Ah, there's the Abbey.
Yeah, you could have been there by now.
I have good memories of this place, and of Father Matthias. Player says, how did you come to know him? How did you come to know of Kiersa at all? Lawrence says, my family have been patrons of Kiersa for, oh, I don't know how many. Some years ago I heard that Kiersa still had a wonderful library and artisans. Professional artists have taken over most manuscript production, so I was shocked to find an active scriptorium here. Option 1 of 3, well, there's not much left. Option 2 of 3, this is as good a place as any to create. Lawrence says, certainly, though I'm sure you miss the comforts of Nuremberg when you're stuck in a drafty old abbey like the. Option 1 of 2, I'll get back there soon enough. I'm in no rush. Option, Lawrence says that's good for me since I still appreciate the Abbey's work. I commissioned a manuscript through Father Gernot a year ago. I thought I would stop by and check on the progress. Wait, are you the artist working on it? It's a prayer book with 20 illustrations. Player says I know the work, but no. I do know the artist well, the venerable brother Piero. Lawrence says how venerable? Player says he still has his wits and his skills, if that's what concerns you. Brother Piero has an incredible talent with color. Lawrence says then I very much look forward to seeing it.
Okay. And I think that'll be it for me.
Options.
And I think I'm gonna be calling it. It's about a 3-hour stream. I think I played enough to understand what the accessibility is in this game, especially the narration. I I don't think I'll play this. I don't think I'll stream this game Pentiment on Twitch more than what I've just shown right now. It's gonna be a lot of reading, but I can see what they're trying to get at. It's yeah, I see the story. I'll just do it offline, listen to it because reading it on my own, a lot of those words I have no idea how. Well, it's difficult for me to enunciate those words, but the text to speech, the
Language. High contrast.
voice assist is wonderful. Hopefully, they will
No, Microsoft
update
Word.
these.
Microsoft, Voice Assist.
There's only was it
Microsoft
Microsoft,
Zero.
a male voice
Voice assist.
in this. These
Microsoft,
are the only
Microsoft,
two
Voice
voices
Assist.
that seem to be
Microsoft
working.
voice assist. Options.
One option I would like to, hopefully they will update in the future. I made a clip of it. Is if it's already read, an option to have the narrator, have the voice assist to reread the lines, and when there are certain points of when we read the lines, they have that little dot 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 and red or red and underscore, where it shows us a description. I would like to see the voice assist to read those descriptions as well. That would be very wonderful because again, some words I have trouble enunciating them. Some of these texts is still a bit difficult for me to read, even with my glasses that help sharpen text. It did take my glasses off. It did come out today, so of course there can be some bugs or updates they can do and suggestions that they can give to people who are just playing it today. But Fallout's but with everything going, I'm going to end stream. Tomorrow I really want to go try to playing as Dusk Falls. That's a game I remember my friend Steve Saylor. I think he mentioned it before, and I saw him stream it before, and I want to touch on it because it is exactly what this game has. Some accessibility features. I have no idea what's in As Dusk Falls, so I'm very tempted to know what they have in it. I've seen Xbox Ambassador. It also too has a narration feature, so I'll be interested to hear how they use it. This game uses the Microsoft voices. I'll be interesting how As Dusk Falls uses narration. So with all our ado, wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day, great afternoon, and a great evening. You take care. Thank you everyone who dropped by my chat, to people like my mod here, Pug Dance, who was chatting with me earlier today, and to whoever who is lurking in my chat. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you guys tomorrow at my usual time of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, we'll be playing As Dusk Falls. Take care, everybody, and make sure to create something awesome, whether it's today, tomorrow, or why not start now? Take care, everybody, and have yourselves a wonderful night.